Hello and very warm welcome to this special podcast series called Digital Mandate, organized by B2B, the Founder Media. This is one of the program where we host senior industry leader from various organization from across different sector to understand as to what they are doing, how technology is helping them, what are the new innovation that they are doing, which will have impact not only on their industry but across the country. And today I'm very happy to let you know that I'm joined by Mr. Anish Kila, director at Perfect Group. This is one of the organization which is working especially in the clean lending and trying to promote sustainability. So, sir, thank you so much for taking our time for this podcast.
My pleasure, sir. It's a pleasure to be here.
Uh, just let me begin by asking you. We have been observing a lot of newer innovation happening in the lending space. Uh, and those are happening because of technology, product innovation, lot of things. You are in an area which is quite niche and quite futuristic. Okay. And I think this is one area which your father has started way back and now you are taking care of it. What are the new thing you are observing, especially in the clean, in the lending space?
Okay. So I think you hit the nail on the head. This is something that is dynamic to the extent that the the roadmap is changing on a daily basis.
Right.
In fact, when you talk about it, when my father started Perfect Group and started retail lending, we were heavily into two-wheeler engines, the ICE engines.
Right.
And we realized over a period of time that we had to keep changing with the trend of the market.
Mm-hmm.
But if the trend was changing, say every 5 years or 10 years earlier, right now the trend changes every 6 months or 1 year.
Right.
And when you talk about clean lending, sustainable lending, EV financing, this is a place wherein each dynamic is changing.
Right.
So, like you said, product innovation, technology innovation, lending practices,
Right.
borrower profiles. You are seeing a drastic change over a period of time, and with concern to each and every market as well, I think.
Right.
So it is very difficult to sort of label it all at one market or
Right.
for one product or for one customer profile. And this is what we are finding as a new challenge also for us.
Right.
And somehow, see, as an NBFC, it is also our prerogative to keep finding these niche sectors,
Right.
because that is the profile that we have. We have to reach out to the unbanked. We have to reach out to the people who are not right now getting sustainable financing from the
Right.
financial institutions. And we have to become those financial institutions for them. We have to guide their journey towards mainstream banking. We have to guide their journey towards mainstream financial systems. And if you could look at, just as a matter of fact, we are one of the leading financiers in the e-rickshaw financing space.
Right.
And we see that the trends are changing. The people who are financing are having to change their models on a regular basis.
Right.
One of the leading trends that you see is how you can involve technology in serving these customers better.
Right.
See, there's a very offhand or layman impression that these people are not aware of technology or they're not comfortable with technology. The idea is that technology has to become comfortable for them.
Absolutely.
You can't always try and teach the customer. You have to make it comfortable for them.
Right.
And now with simple efforts such as WhatsApp integrations, we have AI coming into CRM, we have chatbots coming in.
Right.
These are things that are making it easier, not just for us, but for the customer as well.
Right.
And in fact, when you pass on that value to the customer, that is where the real benefit starts coming.
Absolutely.
You are able to engage with a wider audience. Now, there are talks about how the government is launching its own AI platform,
Right.
and which will make vernacular the norm of life. Now, if somebody like me who's worked all his life within the Delhi markets suddenly decides he wants to go to, say, Karnataka, or he wants to go to Maharashtra and interact with the local crowd there and reach out to them. Now, these are where these technology partners will come into being. Now, if I have to get an agreement there, I have to speak the local language there, I have to address the local people there, I need that tech.
Right. Now, that brings me to a different question. We see there are different kind of lending happening, and people have identified some of the niche. And one of is yours, which is really unique, basically the sustainable lending, clean lending. How this is different from what other people are doing, not in terms of lending, but also the kind of impact it is going to have on the sustainability environment part. If you could share especially for a layman who might not be able to understand sustainable lending?
So I think, in fact, we feel very proud to be a part of this form of lending. I think for two reasons primarily. One is the environmental impact.
Right.
When you look at the fact that you are part of the story which is bringing clean air
Yes.
to the consumer, and you yourself are a consumer. If I am
Right.
staying in Delhi and if I am part of the story,
Right.
I am helping reduce that pollution question
Absolutely.
to a larger extent.
Right.
Second is, I think, the upliftment of the customer.
Right.
See, at the end of the day, when the value reaches the customer, that is where your value gets enriched. And you start making money, or you start making value for everybody in that chain.
Right.
At this point of time, I think the market is so underserved that there is value to be made at each and every segment of this chain, of this value chain. These are customers who were either driving cycle rickshaws. These are customers who were driving hand-pulled rickshaws.
Right.
These are customers, I think, who are actually looking for a sustainable livelihood.
Right.
Now, if you can provide them with the means, and the government is being very, very helpful in this. There have been various subsidies that were given out.
Right.
There have been registration fees that have been waived off at many states. And you can see that impact, that people are adopting this way of automobile very, very easily.
Right.
And when you look at these customers, see, when you talk about an NTC or a new to credit customer,
Right.
now the NBFC has to be the one who takes a step forward and says that
Absolutely.
I will reach out to you.
Right.
And when you give them a sustainable mode of livelihood, and then they earn, and they provide you proper credit, I think that's a journey that is wholesome for every party involved.
Right.
From the person who's manufacturing this e-rickshaw, from the person who's dealing in this e-rickshaw, from us who's providing the financial solution, and from the end customer who's using this.
Right.
But one more thing is the customer who's actually utilizing these services.
Absolutely.
When you see these last mile distances being safely traversed now, you see, like, now for a short distance, he does not have to bargain with the regular modes of transport. He doesn't have to spend that much time. These are fixed routes. They are very easy. They're readily available. And the end consumer, actually the one who's paying for it, really enjoys the fact that that option is now available to him.
Right. How do you also look at the fact that among all these scheme of things and your effort, one is the technology platform that you built in, then the sustainable business model that your father started. The third also come into the picture, the compliance and regulation from a regulator perspective. And we do see for BFSI organization, even for NBFC and micro lending, there are different ways of actually looking at it. And most of them actually consider what RBI says as a Bible and try to follow that. So many a times what happen, compliance or maybe security and data protection at times become burden on innovation. So how has been your experience? How these compliance part is spread out across your organization? How do you look at it?
See, I think RBI plays a very difficult role in times like this.
Right.
See, every time anything goes wrong, everybody just goes and points a finger at RBI saying, why didn't you stop it?
Right.
See, there are about 10,000 NBFCs that are operating in the market. And for a regulator to control, manage, and put them in line is not an easy task.
Absolutely.
And what happens is one bad fish gives a bad name to the entire pool. But RBI has been doing a phenomenal job when it comes to trying to put in controls and systems for the same. See, what happens is the eventual impact comes down to the customer.
Right.
When the customer has an unfavorable experience, RBI now has a portal which is as easy as that you and I could be sitting here and we could post a complaint.
Yes.
And then there is immediate follow-up from the RBI.
Right.
That this is what your customers had a bad experience. Now it is your job to make it right.
Absolutely.
And these are things that also keep us in check. At the same time, there are certain protocols that RBI is putting forward. Now, while that compliance cost does go high, it also ensures that there is a clean environment for everybody to participate in. See, customer education cannot be only RBI's mandate.
Right.
We need to understand as financial institutions and the entire ecosystem as such that education has to be sort of made mandatory for these customers, because these are the people that are helping us with our livelihood. We can't always keep going saying that we are helping with their livelihood. They are the people who are helping with our livelihood. They are the reason we are operating in this. And if they are getting cheated, And if they are having a bad experience with some player who's decided to play with the norms,
Right.
it is also our job to get them
Absolutely.
in place.
Absolutely.
Now, in fact, in the NBFC industry, there is increasing calls for SROs, self-regulated organizations. Now, these SROs will also help the RBI to put these best practices into place.
Yes, right.
And they will also act as watchdogs so that it is not just the RBI which is looking out for the customer interest or about the best practices.
Yes, yes. So absolutely, I think that will be a very good idea. Before RBI comes in, you have the self-regulatory body. They pass on some message and ask you to put things in absolutely in line. Before I let you go, I would like to understand from you, what are the couple of things that you feel down the line in couple of years, let's say 2-3 years, in terms of the technology, product innovation, or any other thing, which you feel really is going to have a far-reaching impact on NBFC, the way we are working right now?
So I think in line with the theme of the event today, AI is something that cannot be ignored.
Right.
When every time you try to give up an excuse saying that no, this is a lot of manual intervention required, there is manual intervention required at this stage.
Right.
But when you look into the future, the moment you start understanding that AI is built on a foundation model, and that foundation model has data fed from your own systems.
Right.
So it is not throwing you data from somewhere else. It is throwing you data from your own own system.
Yes.
So if you ignore those results, it is at your own peril.
Absolutely.
But when you look at a trend, you need to understand that where all can you put it. Like for us, I think CRM is the first place we've started utilizing AI to reach, to make the customer journey very easy with us. But at the same time, fraud detection, credit approvals, collection mechanisms. Now, these are places where the AI could be very, very helpful. And sort of bring down the inefficiencies in the system and also make it easier for us to reach out to our customers and for the customers to reach out to us. And when you move towards AI, you need to understand that it will be only as good as the data you feed it in.
Absolutely.
So it could be machine learning, it could be AI, it could be generative AI, it could be chat GPT, it could be deep science. At the end of the day, it is all dependent on what you are looking forward from it, and secondly, what all you've input into that.
Absolutely. Mr. Anish, thank you so much for taking the time for this podcast.
Thank you, sir. It was a pleasure.
Thanks.